afternoon, guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to go over extreme winter storm that will be taking shape across the plains, Midwest, Southeast, and also into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic regions, and even across New England. It is already appear to have set up and is dropping snow across a large portion of the Midwest right now. So over the next few hours and across the next day or so, we will be monitoring the progress of this winter storm and as well as diving into the details before the real show gets started. Okay, so if you're new or have not yet done so, please be sure to like this video if you enjoy it. Again, we are not seeing enough of that, even compared to like all the other weather forecasts. I'm really starting to get concerned that and not enough of you are actually enjoying it, and I'm trying to make sure that as much of you as possible enjoy this forecast and all my other ones too. And subscribe to this channel if you like our content. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or want your local forecast. Share this video with family and friends if they have risk or has this winter weather. Okay, so now let's get diving into the details of this. Here are snowfall forecasts. As you can see, there are going to be some pretty high amounts across a good portion of the Northeast and in the Mid-Atlantic. But then I'll tell you in a moment why there's this cutoff here. You probably would know already, but in case you don't, I'm going to get to that. But right now I'm going to focus on the preliminary snow amounts, or expected in general, because this snowstorm is already taking place as an clipper across a large portion of the Midwest. And then in the next day, it will be becoming a very impactful winter storm. And snow is not the only thing. We'll tell you what this other thing is. Actually, we're just going to tell you right now. It's going to be a crippling ice storm with huge icing likely and lots of dangerous travel impacts expected. But we're going to focus on the snowfall because we have quite some stuff to talk about. So there will be some areas receiving a foot, especially in the pink zone, where we have labeled an area that may receive a foot or more of snow. Again, most areas in the pink will receive it. It's not guaranteed, but that's just a reminder that at the mall guidance is generally an agreement that you guys across far eastern Ohio, much of western Pennsylvania, New York State, and also West Virginia, you guys are most likely to see a foot of snow, as well as localized areas across northern New England here, which there is a small area of a foot of plus of snow. As you can see, that pink area there too. And then not just across the Midwest, but especially across areas along and east of the Appalachians, you guys are expected to see at least 6 inches of snow. As you can see, that particularly expansive purple region, as you can see, expanding from areas like far northern Georgia and also like southeast, it goes all the way up to the New England region. And then dark blue areas, you guys are just going to expect a little lighter amounts, but like 3 to 6 inches. That's still winter weather advisory and even winter storm warning criteria, like borderline right there, across a large portion of the southeast and as well as northeast New England, mid-Atlantic regions, obviously. And then some lighter amounts of 1 to 3 inches, but I don't know if you can see it, but then there's also going to be some lake effect snow that will enhance the snow amounts across the Chicagoland area. Normally the lake effect snow would be like giving areas immediately east of the Great Lakes snow. But with the wind direction, it will be favoring more like Chicagoland, so even if you almost see nothing there, you could still get a little boost there. That's something that the other areas around you who might not get, except areas like Westview, obviously, which you can see the heavier snow amounts back there. So yeah, now we're gonna go get diving into the ice forecast. So as you can see, there's this expected ice storm across the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast. But we do see a narrow band of freezing rain potential and likely across parts of the upper South, including parts of Tennessee from northern Mississippi, Kentucky. And then we got this huge area of freezing rain across mid-Atlantic, southeast, extending to northeast too, with areas of likely over half an inch of ice even across parts of the mid-Atlantic region, especially like areas like Virginia, even the Carolinas especially. because, and then we'll get to the possibility of even a 3/4 of an inch, which unfortunately models have actually been indicating. This is not just making up forecasts here, like I'm actually basing this off of real true forecast models, which I'll also get to, obviously. And then this, the area for like an ice storm is going to be huge, and this is going to be very crippling, especially what's going on in southeast and over the next couple days or so. But yeah, you have to watch out, and you have to probably just avoid the roads. Luckily, most of this will be happening on the weekend, so not too much to worry about. But still, if you're going out at all, please be very careful. And now we're gonna go get to the models because that's kind of what gets us into the forecast, and that's how we make these maps. Expected amounts from the system from various models, we're looking at least a foot of snow across many areas, including all the way from New England, diving down the Mid-Atlantic, and even in the Appalachian Mountains, and even going all the way to, like, northern Georgia. And then we got a band of snow here that could be particularly heavy. This is the European model. Again, we expect this to start mainly this weekend, and then as for the cutoff we've been talking about, this is occurring obviously, so that's why we have that cutoff there, because the snowfall amounts will already be reduced anyway, because considering obviously once again this storm is occurring and snowfall is being dropped, so you're already getting the end result of what's really going to happen. So I'm not really going to focus this on much at all, but I'll show you where exactly this clipper is right now, which will then ultimately lead to this major winter storm that we're going to be seeing in the forecast and even probably the headlines in the next couple days. So yeah, it's a good time to get prepared because this is going to be very nasty here, and you definitely want to watch out. Now to go to the Canadian model. It doesn't necessarily show as nearly as heavy as the European did, but then you got still like this wide open area of 1 foot plus of snow across the far eastern Great Lakes and even down the Mid-Atlantic region. Some localized in the southern Appalachians. So that's definitely something to look at. And now we're going to look at a GFS. Shows that snowband heavier than the Canadian and about as equal as maybe the European. Even though just a smidge below, especially like Western Tennessee, but I think it's about the same as it was in the European model for that. And then it does show some a foot of snow across, let's say, parts of the Ozarks, but I'm actually kind of doubtful of that because this might be an outlier. But yeah, this is definitely not. This is expected. You can see there's like 1 foot at least. Some areas could be like on the cusp of like 1.5 feet, especially those like along the Great Lakes where you'll see lake enhancement totals. But yeah, that's something to definitely pinpoint out there because there are still some uncertainties, but we're in an agreeable point that this whole region will be likely to see a foot at least of snow. And then, as you can see, we're going to go to the UK model finally. And then it kind of just pretty much shows nothing, like more of a bust across this whole region right here. I don't think this is at all likely, and you guys will probably very likely see snow. And probably at least like a couple inches of it, if anything. Well, the UK is an outlier too. So UK would be on the lightest outlier, and GFS, for example, would be on the heavy outlier for specifically areas like Lower Mississippi Valley. And then you see that sudden gradient, which then turns into like from almost nothing, and then like 200 miles later down the road, there's like a foot of snow. That's kind of what we're seeing here, and along the Appalachians too, mostly. And then we're gonna go to the freezing rain forecast and the models, and then we'll also show you the comparisons. Obviously, that's how we'll do a forecast from now on, kind of, and then you'll see which models might even show an inch of ice, but I don't think that's too likely, but something to definitely consider about, considering the possibility of 3 to 4 inches of ice, 3 to 4 tenths of an inch of ice that we'll be seeing in like the models, obviously. No, I mean like 3 to 4. We're on the GFS, you can see it's more like a kind of isolated, well not really, but like more or less just kind of popping up and popping out. I obviously think that's not really going to be the case, especially considering that this is actually rarely a scenario where that actually happens at all, except for like way lighter amounts than what we're seeing here. Locally an inch across parts of the Carolinas too. That's definitely very, very concerning, and probably fatal as well. But I don't think we're gonna get too worried about like that high of ice secretions, but they'll definitely be very impactful and very easy to injure if you slip on the ice, if anything. And then the GDPS for the Canadian model, it limits like most of the ice to the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas, but they continue to whop down the burst of the ice across Carolina, especially South Carolina. And again, that local inch of ice is obviously there. And again, that local inch of ice is obviously there. And then and gradually lighter amounts progressing northward into Virginia, but still ice storm likely there. So yeah, you definitely want to take into that consideration, because very impactful once again, obviously. Very concerning, very high ice. And obviously, as an AM usually is with winter weather events, it overdoes the amounts and area of winter precipitation, not just ice, but also snowstorms. And this is obviously what we saw with the last ice storm we've been covering. It's not nearly like this. This is very concerning. It is like practically up the East Coast, but really for most of the coast, you're not really seeing anything but plain rain. Sadly for those snow lovers, especially up here in the Northeast New England. Well, I should say like New England will probably see snow, but also a little ice mixed in. So like more of a wintry mix in that manner, or maybe just mainly snow. But then you have those widespread areas of heavy ice, and that's gonna be very crippling and cause lots of damage. So you're definitely gonna want to get very prepared for that, like right now, because this is just gonna happen in the next couple of days. It'll probably start like tomorrow over here, and then during the weekend, Saturday night or Sunday, it will be over here in the southeast, dropping tons and tons of ice, and you'll definitely notice the impacts, obviously. Half-inch of ice across this whole area, according to this model, at least an inch locally across parts of the more or less little green shade areas. If you see a little green, not much, or it's blue, whatever. But I don't think the name's really right at all, because it usually isn't. But I mean, it's also something that it always tends to be an outlier in the models when it comes to stuff like this. And then we have the UK model once again. No, it's the other branch of the Canadian model, basically. The RDPS, they're definitely related, and they're probably kind of associated with each other too in that manner. Lighter ice across the Mid-Atlantic, and then across South Carolina, it's really crippling. But we definitely want to make sure you guys prep for that right now, because once again, it's just going to happen over the weekend. And it will be very soon, trust me on this, and it will be very impactful and very concerning, and it will do lots of damage and impacts, obviously. With that amount of ice, even an inch, probably that will be something to consider, but I don't know if that's really going to happen. I mean, once again, northern half of South Carolina is really a bullseye across. That's the models for this, and they all show like localized 1 inch of ice, probably across just this whole half of South Carolina, with coastal and southern half probably expecting pretty much almost nothing. other than rain, probably, because let's see how the storm evolves, and I'm going to show you the clipper now. Here's the clipper. You can see an expansive area of snow across parts of southern Minnesota, southwestern Wisconsin, northwestern Illinois, almost all of Iowa, which will actually affect all of Iowa. But some areas like the southwest and portions near around Omaha are likely seeing rain, according to the Zoom Earth, which is where I'm at. If you want to check it out, it's really cool. You'll see a good satellite. It's even trusted for like, it's even something you can consider using for like hurricane season and stuff like that. But we're not at hurricane season. We're in the middle of winter right now, obviously. And then you got this area of rain, Kansas City, St. Louis, Omaha. You guys will see snow eventually, but not just yet. And actually, this transition's like we're about to happen soon across Omaha. So over the next couple hours, watch this as it turns into all snow. And then it'll take a little longer for the Missouri cities like Columbia, Kansas City, and St. Louis. But again, you want to make sure you're prepared for that, because unlike like the Carolinas over here, you guys will just get some moderate snow, so not as much to worry about. But you still need to make sure you know what you're doing, because even in just a little snow, you can see travel impacts easily. And crashes can happen even under the adjusting into left snow too. So you definitely want to be sure you know what you're doing out there, because yeah, localized heavy snow, also widespread moderate snow too. So yeah, this is definitely a big system to kind of. If you enjoyed today's forecast of show, just as another reminder, subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already, and please be sure to like this video if you did enjoy the forecast. And again, I'm not begging for it, but I feel like most of the forecasts easily get way more than, well, not way more, I should say, but like more than what we've seen in our last video. And comment any suggestions, local forecasts, or questions below. Stay notified to continue to receive updates from this channel, and which we will. Be safe and have a good day. Also, we may be doing a stream, maybe not. That's actually kind of something I'll have to really think about. But again,